muted. No. Okay, sorry about the technical difficulty. My Stream Deck doesn't apparently set up to the right commands, but Master Chief is not random today. We are going to be doing some fun stuff, doing a gaming streaming site throughout the week. So hopefully you guys can finally hear me now. And feels like that was a little bummer. Let me bring down that music. Thanks there, Paco. All right, sorry guys, we had some issues here there. All right, well now we should be good. We've got the audio fixed. Let me double check everything. All right, I think we're solid here. So thank you for tuning in. We are going to be doing a fun progressive challenge this week. If you joined me for the last 2 weeks, we did some daily challenges. So each day was unique and different. Challenges were meant to be about 30 minutes to 90 minutes long and help you guys level up, learn some cool things, and build out some awesome projects to beef up your portfolio. We're going to be doing the same thing this week, except we're going to take it a little bit further. So from Monday through Friday, we're going to be working on the same project, have this be a little bit beefier, and build out something really cool for you guys. So thank you for joining in again. Sorry for the technical problems. But we've got a lot of awesome folks here. Thank you for coming in and joining us. We've got Cornelian, Richard, Evan, I said Master Chief. I saw Agata was in here before. Thank you guys for joining in and being here. I am under the weather, so if my voice sounds weird from last week, I'm sick. I'm trying not to cough and die on everybody here. So without further ado, let's jump into stuff. If you've not yet become a part of the community, head on over to Discord. You can do that right here and join the Discord group. And if you have not yet signed up for the challenges, let's come on over here to behance.net/daily creative challenge. You can click on join the XD challenge. And right here, that will give you a link to Discord. But each day you'll be able to jump in, watch the videos, download the starter files, which I'll show you guys in a moment. And these will unlock every day about an hour or so, or hour or two before the streams. So that way you can get ahead and start prepping for things. So let's jump back down to the bottom here. And Sid, thank you so much. We've been sick for like a month. I'm so sick of being sick. But you can finally hear it now. So let's jump into stuff. If you're new to Discord, where you're going to want to live, check out all the channels. There's a lot of great stuff for everybody here. But we're going to live really in this current challenge channel. And this is where you're going to be able to post the work that you're working on, get feedback from awesome community members. Again, to call it Agata, she's been doing a great job giving people feedback and reviews on their projects, as well as all the awesome mentors. I know Chris Cannon did a great wrap-up video last week on a bunch of projects. So make sure that you all jump in there and participate. Show early, show often. Don't be afraid or feel like you've got some kind of imposter syndrome or whatnot when it comes to sharing your work. The quicker you can get in there and get help, the better. Don't try like battling through that creative block or feeling stuck on something, and try to give us a good instruction on what you're looking for feedback. Is there a particular area or problem that you're trying to solve that's a little bit tougher? What does that look like, and how can we help you through that? And we'll do that. We'll try to share a lot of best practices stuff as well. And at the end of this, hopefully we'll have some time and I'll go over a couple of the awesome projects from last stream, including this one, which my buddy Rob managed to get in as one of the random generated user avatars. So that's super cool. And Andrew, thanks for joining in, buddy. I'm going to be at Adobe Max next week with Andrew and Evan. I know Howard's going to be there in the Adobe team. So if you're there, please come find us, say hi. We'd love to catch up and meet you guys in person. All right, so let's jump directly into our XD file for the day. So what we're going to be doing today and this week, we're going to create a project that's kind of like a Twitch or a Mixer. We thought it'd be fun, since we're doing the streams here, to do a live stream project. And so what we're going to come up with and think through in this challenge is going to be things like what do we need to do and build in order to have a web-based live stream video experience. So let's create a mood board that informs our colors, our type. Let's figure out how to document and think through some of the initial functional requirements that we need for this project and start moving in a direction to where tomorrow we'll be ready and established to start designing and building this out a little bit. And Liu, if you can't make it every day for the live stream, just make sure to go to that link, behance.net/daily creative challenge, and each day we'll be listing the videos there. So you can always go back, catch up. If you scroll down the page, you can even catch past live streams. So you can always tune in. They're all on YouTube as well. All right. So just coming down here, I want to touch base on this real quick. The level of detail of your wireframes is totally flexible, and you have to find what works for you and sometimes what works for your client. Me personally, when it's stuff that I'm just working on for myself, I like to keep them a little bit more lower fidelity. Let me turn this off here as well, sorry. I like to have this lower fidelity where, you know, I don't need text for everything. I kind of just can look at shapes and objects and know what it is that I'm building out. But I've also had clients where sometimes our wireframes look like black and white versions of a finished design. Just that level of fidelity and detail. It communicates differently to different people, and different people are able to understand it based on their experience levels as well. So find what works for you, work on it from there, and you guys can check out more examples of some great wireframes. So what we're gonna do, I've just come up here and I've set up a grid structure for this, and what I'm gonna work on today is gonna lean into tomorrow's exercise. And I want to build out kind of a home page for something like Twitch or Mixer. So if we come there real quick and let's see, let me just make sure I mute this as it comes up. Okay, so when I come up to a site like Twitch, I'm immediately greeted by a bunch of videos, recommended channels, recommended categories. They've got some cool effects here too. Excuse me, maybe that's something that we can play on as I see that, like a cool hover effect for each of these. So we might be able to do something there. We can definitely do some cool stuff with auto animate with like these carousels. And then if we come over to Mixer, you know, I think we're going to see a lot of the same kind of stuff. There's just a nice little pattern here that works really well. I actually really like how Mixer is, you know, they've been paying a lot of a lot of streamers to kind of move over to the platform. And I think this is cool how they're doing these spotlights. So Ninja, you know, probably the most popular streamer most of us know, is featured here along with all of these other streamers. We see our top games, etc. And so it's really quick and easy to jump into something like this and have an understanding of where you're at in this process. So, you know, what I would say is go check out sites like this, go check out other streaming sites, do a little bit of research and understand what are some core components that we're seeing. We've got our logo and navigation. I've got the ability to sign in. I'm seeing on Microsoft owns Mixer, that, you know, they've got language translation here, so it's clearly very international. When I come over to Twitch, I should probably go to one of these logged out, but you know, I can see again, like I've got my account. They do a lot of gamification, so there's like prime loot, there's notifications here. I can purchase like credits and in Twitch currencies that can be then spent on people. So there's a lot of things that we start to see, and we'll dive into more of these too once we get into the streams themselves and we build out some of the internal pages. But it's really important to jump in here and see what's going on. This shouldn't be something that you just go, I'm going to build a streaming site and just start making it. Go do homework and find out what's been going on. I had to do my homework this weekend and play a lot of Call of Duty with my friends and stream it, you know, because of research. Research is very important. So anyways, make sure to go do some of that. Go check out some different channels. Go see what people are doing. See how users are using it, and sign up and go watch something for a little bit and see what that interaction is like. And if you want, go follow me on Twitch later. We'll probably stream later this evening or something. All right, so let's jump in now to our XD file. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like rough and kind of dirty on a lot of these. I'm just going to start building out shapes, and I like to use like either gray blocks, or sometimes I'll just use colors, just to start creating some differentiation between things. And so I'm going to create this. This will be my navigation bar. I know that I want to build out some additional items such as that video content area. So real quick, I'm just going to build out something like this. And I might even come in here and say 1920 by 1080, just as a little trick. And then I can scale this proportionally. That way, when you're working with video content, that way you make sure that it's all consistent. So we've got something like that. I now want to bring these down a little bit. So I'm going to create a couple behind it that are going to be slightly lighter. And I can just quickly arrange this and send it to the back. Let's turn off our blue grid layout at the moment, but I will talk more on the grid here in a sec. All right, and let's make that one a little bit lighter. And arrange, send to back. Okay, so real quickly, I've kind of already built that out. I'm gonna come over here and we can just quickly reverse these. And I know that might not be precise in terms of like balance yet, but that's okay. We're just kind of getting things going here a little bit. All right. And so now we've got that foundation laid out. Again, there's a couple things that I know I'm gonna need up here in my navigation. So maybe I need something like a logo that's gonna live over here. I know I'm gonna probably want when I'm signed in, and this is where you'll want a second version for what's a logged in state versus a logged out state. But I might come over here and say, okay, I know I need a CTA to log in or create an account. And this is where I'd probably do create an account or sign up, because logged out, that's the most important action. And then next, this is gonna get some of you. I'm just gonna warn you. We're gonna use Comic Sans. So the reason that I like using Comic Sans for wireframes before everybody just like triggers out and drops out of the stream is I like Comic Sans because my brain can't process it as something I'm really designing. When I get into wireframes, I have a bad habit if I'm using like Open Sans or Proxima Nova or something like that I typically design with. I stop wireframing and I start designing. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be aligned. Sizes, colors, except like I end up just creating the application rather than doing what I'm doing now and just kind of setting up a foundation for stuff. So I really like to use Comic Sans because my brain doesn't take it seriously, and it allows me to quickly come in here now and I can just start laying stuff out. And again, I'm not worried like, is the size, is my capitalization wrong? Whatever, I take that back. I sort of have to make sure things are consistent, but I can quickly come in here now and I can just say, you know, what are my menu items? What are the things that I need in this? And I might say, you know, I want discover. Maybe I want to check out people I'm following. I don't know, about. And I don't know, streamers. Just do something like that. So now really quickly, I've laid out the top area. I have the information. I can keep this thing really loose, really raw. I don't need to over design it. So again, you know, use Papyrus, use Comic Sans, use whatever works for you. This is just a trick I find to help me stay kind of grounded in a wireframe. Otherwise, again, I go into design mode and it's just too much all at once. So let's jump in here. Yeah, Steven, you were saying kind of the same thing. You can't use Helvetica or whatever it is that you typically design in because it sort of becomes problematic after a while. So let's come over here. Again, I'm not even going to worry about my grid, even though I do have one set up to use for this project. But what I might do here is I want to create a section on this side. And let's do something like this. I want to have this be maybe like channels. And over on the right-hand side here, I could do something like, I could do popular or channels I'm following, something along those lines. I'm gonna, again, keep this like really rough and raw. And to cough on everybody today, I apologize. Again, I'm not even gonna worry about using like an icon set, I'm just gonna start moving things around. I know that this is now a drop down, and I can come down here and I'm gonna create a section where I know I want to have a channel, I want to use their avatar, and then I'm gonna want something that is maybe like streamer name, and then underneath maybe we do something like their follower count or how many people are watching. So we'll do something like this. Followers. All right. And now, oh, I did my numbers wrong. Hang on. Little Easter eggs. You always got to throw Easter eggs and stuff. All right. And now I'm going to create that. If you remember, go back. I think it's like day 2 or 3 from our last challenge. I'm going to do repeat grid, and I'm just going to create a grid down here. I'm going to bring these in a little bit tighter. So something like that. All right, and now I've got here on the side, I know I want to have this section with the channels. I want to be able to change this from things like popular, following, you know, maybe it's, I want to have this be people that I often go watch. So there's different things that you can do on that, and you can tailor that. We're going to come in and think through a little bit more. And let's see what else. I want to do something that maybe talks about like what are the popular games right now. So let's do games, or maybe we'll say like trending. Or we could do, let's do categories. I think that's a language that they use on a lot of them. And we'll do something like this. We can pull this over a little bit more. And here, let's do like some cover art for games. So maybe it's something like roughly about this size. And then let's do down below, maybe we'll do something like this. And we'll say game name, 20,242 viewers. Okay, and so again, I'm going to create this. I'm going to pull up my repeat grid, and I'm just going to pull this off the page. And so now we get a nice view. I get to see my categories. It's going to be all different games. So we'll have, you know, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Mario Kart, etc. And we'll go down the line, and this gives us a good view of things. Then I maybe want to have something down here of like recommended. And so we do like recommended channels. And down here, I'm going to take this view one more time. And again, I'm not really worried too much about what my grid is. If things are aligned, it's meant to be messy, and I just want to get ideas out here real quick. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit more. And now, once again, I might do something where, grab this, come down here, and like you guys can see, this text is different than this text size. I'm not worried about it yet. This is just to help me and a developer understand the functional requirements of what I'm going to build. So I might come in here now and say, you know, streamer name and 800 viewers. And once again, I'm going to grab my repeat grid. And this time maybe I don't do like a full drop off on the page like that. We could, or I could do something if I wanted to create a grid like this. So play around, see what works best. I just want to kind of show different usages of things. But now I want to take a look at things, and as we looked at a little bit before, I see Twitch has this dark UI. I hate the light UI on Twitch. It's really hard on the eyes. But you know, I see the dark, I see the purple, I see Mixer's got a little bit more of this blue. And so if I were to create an app, I would say, well, I don't want it to look like either of these. So how do we differentiate that? Maybe we're going to use a different color. How does that color change the audience? If we go pink, would that be overly feminine, and would that rule out a portion of the audience? If we go with something that's too masculine, you know, the reverse happens. Blue and purple both have kind of like exciting, calming effects. I personally kind of like, and where I think I might go is kind of a blend in this like blue and pink kind of range. I think that it meets both audiences. It's very popular with that like RGB lighting and whatnot, and I think it could work. And so maybe we can play with a little color combination there, or otherwise I'd probably go with something kind of like a electric green, something with a little bit of energy. So I might come over here real quick and start setting up a couple of colors. And so I'm just gonna come in here and maybe I pick something out that's like almost this dark purple. That's kind of interesting. So I'll start there. I want to pull out something that's kind of in the pink range. That's a little too bright, but maybe if I like mute that a little bit, something there could work. And so I can play with that now, but I'm starting to set a foundation where this is probably going to be the bigger base. I might even pull that a little bit on the darker side. And then pink is going to be that small accent color. And I'll probably even bring in a little bit of an electric blue just to have a little bit of contrast with it as well. So again, a lot of work to be done here, but something along this lines could give me enough of a color palette to be unique and differentiating from the competition and build something out. So those are things that you guys want to think through a little bit there as well. And yeah, pink goes well with Comic Sans. We're totally on a great track there. So this is kind of how I want you guys to start the foundation of your project. The next step from this is going to be starting to set up your type styles, your iconography, finding out what you like. I personally really like streamline icons and Nucleo icons. Those are my go-tos for really robust icon suites. So I'll probably use that within my project. And then go collect some artwork. So, you know, grab some screenshots of streamers that you could throw into the backgrounds here. Go grab cover art for games or whatever the topic of your streaming site is going to be. Pull those assets in and download those this evening. That way you've got stuff to work with throughout this project. And, you know, we can always come in here and pull out, I'm just gonna detach this for a second. I could come in and create some quick avatars over here by going to my plugins. I will go to UI faces and I can just come in here and say, you know, give me a random series of avatars, and boom, you've got that, and we can then utilize these for the stream as well. So hopefully that gives you all a great start for today. Really excited to see how you build that out. With that, I'd love to go over one or two projects really fast and just showcase what you've all been doing. So we've got this great project here, a delivery app. I come in here, some nice animations. It feels nice and speedy. I can check out my menu here. I might extend this all the way over. This just feels like I kind of miss this. Maybe if this was a little bit bolder and the color reversed or something. But let's take a look. So awesome. I get to pick multiple options here. We'll pick the burger, coffee, Greek. All right, search. Go through pizza. We might be stuck through a loop, so we'll just tab through that. And then boom, that's gonna pick out the place that we're gonna order. If you guys remember from last week, that was to help us remove being unable to decide, and you'd pick a couple cuisines that you liked and it would immediately move you into something. So this one here, my buddy Rob Davarnia, not Jeff, but let's check this out. So flicks, we can come in, we can cycle through these. Is there one that I can pick out? I can go in here. And cool, a little glitch on that animation, but great being able to come in here and see the stats so I can see they've got a limit of how much they can watch and what's being used. Really cool. Most streamed, the devices that they're on. It'd be great to have a timestamp in here. But overall, this is a great start. Well, cool. Well, I think that's going to about wrap us up for today. Make sure you all stay tuned for the next stream. Really excited for everybody to join in on this challenge with us. Super excited to see what you come up with. And again, bring your personalities into this. If there's certain games that you play, showcase that in your design. If there's certain activities that you like to watch streaming, I know on Twitch there's people doing illustration, art, all kinds of creative. There's people singing and playing music. Pull that in, showcase your personality. I think it'll help pull out the best work from you as well. And let us know if you have any questions. We're here to help out in chat, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Well, here we are back on the hot, muggy streets of